This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode 222 of Horse Tip Daily, a different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. This tip is brought to you by Equestrian Collections, for the whole universe of equestrian shopping at your fingertips at a price you can afford. Enjoy today's tip. Hi, Glenn the Geek back with you from Horse Tip Daily. We're here in Lexington, Kentucky, horse capital of the world, and in less than 90 days now, we'll be hosting the World Equestrian Games about 3 or 4 miles from my house here at the Kentucky Horse Park. Well, we've had some great shows this week on the Horse Radio Network. Robert Dover joined Chris on the Dressage Radio Show, and she got an update with Lyndon Gray on Courtney King Dye and her situation since her accident and how recovery is coming. And apparently she's doing as well as could be expected at this point and doing her rehabilitation and trying really hard. So that was a nice update from Lyndon on Courtney King Dye. That's at dressageradio.com. Well, today we have back with us Betsy Cohen. She knows more about leather care than anyone I know. She works for Bickmore, which is one of the leading companies in the leather care business. She has been working with them for over 10 years and is just a delightful lady. And we're going to get to Betsy here in a moment. Betsy has done a number of tips with us on leather care, and you should take a listen to those. Just go to horsetipdaily.com and search for Betsy Cohen on the left on the drop-down menu, and you'll find all her tips in one place. Well, you all know that I love Equestrian Collections, and today I wanted to speak to you about actually their Facebook page. They have one of the most dynamic Facebook pages of any company I know. Go to Facebook and just search for Equestrian Collections. They have conversations going over there. She always has contests going on and is giving away all kinds of stuff. She has almost 20,000 followers or fans over there at Facebook now. So I just encourage you to stop by Facebook and search for Equestrian Collections and get involved in the community that happens right there on her website. Now, all the time, people posting pictures of their horses and just some neat things happening that I don't see in other places. That's at Equestrian Collections on Facebook. And don't forget that right now they're having their huge summer tent sale. They've always got closeouts and things going on at Equestrian Collections. You can find all of that on their homepage, right at equestriancollections.com. There's a big summer tent sale banner at the top there. Plus, they have some neat contests right there on the homepage as well. I think you're going to find their website's easy to get around, and it makes it very easy to buy all those products you need for you, your horse, your kids, your family at equestriancollections.com at a price you can afford. And now on with Betsy Cohen. Well, hi, Betsy, and welcome back to Horse Tip Daily.
Well, hey, thanks for having me.
You know, it's always fun to have you on. We chat about leather and goop. A lot of different goop topics with you, because everything you do really involves something in a bottle or a can.
You better believe it, or a bucket. We do
or a bucket,
too.
True, you do buckets too.
If it's gooey, muddy, yucky, we're on it.
And I think we're talking about black goop today, aren't we?
We absolutely are. You know, I've been working for Bickmore for a long time, and basically, over and over, I hear people say, well, you know what, we don't know what pine tar is, we don't know what it's for, you know, other than like the shipbuilders and the log cabin people are painting it on their walls and on their boat hulls.
And I think there's still some farms that paint it on the fences, too.
Absolutely.
Although the farms that do that, the horses get all icky. Ugh.
Yeah, it is gooey, it is stinky, it is, and the smell doesn't go away for a long time, which tells me that it's still working, which is all good, but yeah, it's a little gooey.
So pine tar is the topic of the day.
Absolutely, and we're going to talk about Bickmore's pine tar specifically because that's what I know about. I know that there are other brands out there, but basically our claim to fame is that we have a all-natural, 100% pure light pine tar. It is biodegradable, and as if some of your readers, or not readers, your listeners have listened to my other topics, I'm very anti-petroleum distillates.
Now,
so basically,
pine tar actually made out of pine wood?
It absolutely is.
Okay.
You know, a long time ago they used to tap trees and that sort of thing to make it. Now there's lots of different ways you can get it, but absolutely it is from, you know, the chopping down, grinding up, squeezing, juicing a tree, if you will.
It's actually the decomposition of the pine tree that creates it now, right? Sort of.
I know it is a resin, and
I think from what I understand, right now the way they do it is they rapidly decompose it, and then they apply heat and pressure. They push on it,
right.
And what comes out of that, as I understand it, is charcoal and pine tar.
Well, and I know that the paper-making industry has a huge quantity of pine tar out there, and it's a byproduct of the paper-making industry as well.
Is that why the paper plants always stink? Smell really bad?
I'm sure it is. I mean, they use some pretty yucky things out there. So, I think there's more than one way to skin a cat kind of thing. and basically, our pine tar is 100% pure. It is biodegradable, which, I'm a pretty green individual, so I prefer something that's not going to harm myself, my horse, or the environment for my daughter and future generations. And it contains no petroleum distillates, which, I don't ever think petroleum distillates are a good thing.
So this is basically the tree and the result thereof.
Exactly right. It is stickier, stinkier, gooier, yuckier than anyone else's.
Which makes it better.
Well, and
this is one case where you can say icky, stinky, gooey is better.
Yahoo! That's exactly right. And, Bickmore has taken the stance that we might not always be the easiest product to use on the shelf, but we are always the most effective. And we will basically surrender or give up our ability to make something easier to use if we are changing how effective it is.
Okay, so what do we use pine tar for?
Pine tar is a hoof moisture retention product. Now, to restate that, I didn't say that pine tar moisturizes hooves. It doesn't condition hooves. Basically, everyone and all these people who go out and spend a lot of money on hoof moisturizers are basically wasting their money and they're buying into the marketing of that company. Horses' hooves are not made to absorb anything in and to take it in like that. If you want a better hoof, you need to look at what you're feeding your horse and approach that problem systemically. You need to feed them additional supplements or different foods because basically a good hoof comes from within. So what we want to do with the pine tar is keep, if your horse has dry, brittle feet, you want to keep what little moisture is left in there because the moisture can leave the hoof, but it's really hard to put it back in. So you're going to paint the hoof walls, the bulbs of the heels, the whole hoof with pine tar. Usually I tell people to stay away from the cornet band and wipe off the excess. But basically you're going to paint it on there, and it is going to be a little stinky. It's going to be a little sticky. Basically when I go out and I paint my horse's hooves and I go out and ride for 45 minutes and then come back in, I can still smell it. It is still there. So you're going to do that, and basically it helps hold that moisture in while you're growing more hoof. The other thing is when you have dry, brittle hooves, a lot of times their hooves start cracking, their shoes get pulled off, you have the farrier come back out, they're putting more holes in this horse's hoof. And the problem with that is all those little holes in that dry hoof that's not wildly healthy gives a little opening gateway for all those little bugs and germs that are out in your field and in a stall, and so it can lead to infection in the hoof. Pine tar is a very cool product in that it has natural antiseptic and fungicidal properties. So by painting it on your horse's hooves, you're also protecting them and trying to inhibit infection and the opportunity for infection in the horse's hoof. It is a very effective treatment for quarter cracks, split hooves, hard frogs. A lot of farriers out here will use it as a hoof pack. And again, it's just until you can grow better feet. Now, there are some horses out there that you need to paint it on every day. There are other horses you need to do it a couple, 3 or 4 times a week. But usually you can start seeing, or your farrier can start seeing a difference within that 4 to 6 week time when you're getting your horse reshot. It was interesting. A couple of years ago, Texas A&M came out with a study, and they took a whole bunch of cadaver hooves, chopped them up, soaked them in water, and then pulled them out, painted them with all the various hoof dressings out there, and basically weighed it at a specified time. And they basically said plain old 100% pure pine tar helped retain the moisture over any of the other products. And they were looking at some pretty high-end products.
Yeah, because there's a lot of products out there for this now.
It is mind-boggling how many hoof care products out there and what all the different marketing companies will talk about and say and the claims they make. So basically, Texas A&M, they're respected, they're knowledgeable, and they're saying pine tar is the best. I'm sticking with what they're saying.
Well,
pure old pine tar.
Of course, we were old school, been around for a little while now, my wife and I, and we use pine tar. And pine tar can also be used as sort of as an antiseptic or for skin diseases too. Now, the problem with that, obviously, is it's icky. It's a little ickier than the alternatives, but it is also very good for skin diseases and different eczema and things like that. The other place we used it on the farm when we had our big farm was we had a lot of chickens. And
anti-pecking.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. When the chickens, a lot of people don't know that chickens will just kill each other, literally. They'll peck each other.
Mean.
Oh, they'll pick out a low hen. There's always a low hen on the totem pole, and they will just attack that hen until the hen is dead. And what you would do is figure out what the low hen was, and you'd put the pine tar on that hen. And what would happen is they'd go to peck her, and they would get that sticky stuff all over their beaks, and they would just spend more time trying to deal with that than they'd forget about the hen. So it was a way of trying to save your chickens.
Yeah, I get a lot of funny phone calls, and so yes, that is one of the phone calls I get with almost boring regularity.
Is that right?
The couple of years I worked for Bickmore, it was like, wow, novel, I got another chicken picker, and and now it's a once a month phone call.
Wow, I didn't realize that. People are still using it for that purpose.
I get some interesting phone calls on pine tar, but yeah, it is still, it's not something we recommend because that would be off-label use. And as it is an FDA product, we have to say that it's for horses' hooves.
Well,
but yeah,
how can you get? Is there something that will take pine tar off? You want it off now? Is there something that will effectively take it off?
I just wash my hands really well with a ton of soap. I guess Goo Gone is kind of my around the barn, always gets everything off from, asphalt and sealer, that black tar-like yucky stuff. It gets everything off. So I just always jump to either a lot of soap with a little bit of that gritty stuff that my husband gets from the hardware store, or I just go to Goo Gone.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
And then I smell orangey and fresh. So, it maybe covers up some of the barn sweat, grime, dirt.
And pine tar smell.
Yeah, that too.
All right. Well, that's great. Well, that's the lesson on pine tar for the day. Where can people find out more about you guys?
www.bickmore.com. You can go down. There's basically a description of all of our product. And also, if they hit our homepage, there is a button that they can click on that will say, hey, sign me up to get a free sample of the new Bic 5 Complete Care. And that's a pretty cool product. We don't keep your information. We're not going to hunt you down or anything like that. But we're basically just saying, hey, you guys need to try this new Bic 5. It's a great product. Lazy Man's Leather Care. Spritz, wipe, done. It is awesome. Car interiors, couches, leather coats. You name it. It's awesome.
Cool. All right, great. Well, thank you very much, Betsy, and we'll be talking to you again soon.
Oh, thanks so much. It was a pleasure working with you. Have a good one.
Well, thank you to Betsy for joining us today. We really appreciate that, and we hope that you've now had Pine Tar 101, and you understand pretty much what there is to do with pine tar around horses. It's always a great product to have around. Well, you can drop me an email at glenn@horseradionetwork.com. Let me know if you're enjoying the shows. Do you have any specific tips you want to hear about or any experts you want to hear on the show? You can do that right there at glenn@horseradionetwork.com. And also, please subscribe to the shows through iTunes or Zune. We'd love for you to do that. It'll be automatically downloaded to your iPod or your MP3 player, and you can find those links on the website as well. Don't forget to check out all the other great shows on the network at horseradionetwork.com. Well, I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, stay safe, everyone.